what I think is real and what I think isn't. But, you know, I think the idea that people are creating fake comps on cards, right? That's the same thing as shilling, same thing as shill bidding. That pisses me off because I'm sitting here putting my blood, sweat, and tears into the hobby, and I'm doing it 100%. And to think that people are taking shortcuts when, you know, probably a good 90% of us are playing fair, that just doesn't sit right with me.
Third, the submitter of the private sale must be a credible member of the hobby community. Very important. It is helpful if the submitter has a well-established social media presence that can be referenced by the researcher to determine their credibility.
Everyone, hope everything's going well. Today I wanted to talk about private sales and ask the question, are these rigged? Especially after the whole situation that went down with Rob, Sports Card Therapist, where it seems his IG is deactivated. I tried messaging him, tried to reach out to others that are acquainted with him. What's going on? His Apple and Spotify, it seems you can't access them anymore. And yeah, there's some YouTube clips out there of him, but they don't seem to be on his channel. They're on other people's channels. And I found that weird because I was supposed to do some sort of live stream with him. I told him that, hey, look, I couldn't do a live with him on Friday. He said, jump on a stream with me on Friday. I said, no, I can't do it at this time. I said, give me 2 days. And today, I mean, I'm going to be posting the video on Monday morning, but I was supposed to do a live with him. Didn't happen at all. Anyways, I found that weird. He's deleting all sorts of stuff. Last person in the hobby to delete all sorts of stuff was Card Porn. We know what happened with this guy and what that guy did. Either Rob is very soft or he's done a lot of shady stuff that people don't want to dig into. And the jury is out regarding that. Now, I did respond, or I did message Card Ladder, because at the end of the video that is now deleted on Instagram, Rob said that, hey, he submitted 2 low sales to Card Ladder. And he said that, hey, I wanted the price to go down. So I'm just thinking in my head, and, you know, especially after Dan the Cardman did his video, did he try to manipulate the sales downward? So I messaged Card Ladder. I tried to interact with Rob, couldn't get an answer. So I went to Card Ladder, be like, hey, what did Rob submit? And Chris, what he told me was he privately submitted 2 sales, $225 for Eli Manning, 2014 Flawless, number 23, Pass Ruby 15, PSA 9, okay? And there was another Patrick Mahomes card, so that's not relevant to this conversation. So $225. He said 2 sales. So I just wonder what the other amount was. And what Chris told me is that they need documentation to corroborate this information. And he did talk about a few other things as well. He said the criteria for any private sale is this: the party to deal with who is reporting must be willing to attach their name and social media contact, which we display in the notes section in all private sales. The reporting party must provide verifying documentation that the transaction was consummated in full, and that includes invoices, bank statements, and or screenshots of PayPal transfers. So where I'm looking at it is, hey, I'm just thinking out loud, right? They have their own procedures, but we saw Card Porn was just like making stuff up, committing all sorts of fraud. How do we know that the documentation could be Photoshopped, could be messed around with, and people are just making stuff out of nowhere? That's just my own thought process. You can easily Photoshop stuff, especially in light of what Card Porn did with the migrate situation, and what I do believe happened in the Spiegel brothers case. I believe Card Porn was manipulating or was using Photoshop to try to fool Ken Golden. I think that's what went down. And I think more information about the Spiegel Brothers lawsuit will probably come out in the coming weeks and months ahead. So I want to see what goes on with that. And then it says the reporting party must be in good standing in the hobby community. Their credibility as a reliable source of a deal must be intact. Okay? The price of the sale should reasonably align with the market value of the card if such a determination can be made. There are a few things regarding that where, okay, what does it mean to be good standing in the hobby? There's so many shady people out there. Because, you know, if you're in good standing with the Good Old Boy Network, is that what it is? I'm just thinking out loud. And 4, the price of the sale should reasonably align with the market value of the card if such a determination can be made. The thing is that I remember the sale last year with Herbert did not make sense at all. And it was like $1 million card. So that's where I'm like, hey, private sales, I get it. Some people may overpay. I just don't trust a lot of people in the hobby as it is. So, you know, if Card Ladder wants to verify sales, you know, it's in their right to do so. But me being skeptical, I always will, you know, put on my auditing cap, even though I'm not an auditor. But you have to exhibit professional skepticism. And that's what Dan the Cardman does in his videos and in his profession. What I also wanted to say regarding private sales, are they rigged? Because if you look at the financial markets, the brokerage houses, they have to deal with rules dealing with money laundering. And I'm not saying that the vast majority of sales in this hobby are related to money laundering, but I'm just thinking, hey, look, what stops an individual where, okay, there may be a legitimate sale that goes down, but it's actually a fraudulent transaction. And that's something that I'm sure Card Ladder can't detect based on the transaction. Okay, they could be quote unquote good standing in the hobby community. They'll have a decent social media platform, but how do you know where that money, the origination of the funds, was legit? And I spoke about this in a previous video where, hey, there are people in this hobby that have shady backgrounds, and the question is, where did their funds originate from? Right? Was it Bitcoin sales? Was it drug deal sales? This is something that I'm just thinking in the back of my head, because I'm just thinking during the pandemic, how many of those sales were involved with shady people that took their money from fraudulent purposes, and there were private sales. So I'm just, you know, thinking out loud, especially with the situation that went down with Rob. Like, was he trying to manipulate the low end and sending in these sales? And then on the other end, he was trying to do these mega bids and not pay for them. And it's just strange how he deleted all of his accounts. That is just one of the most bizarre behavior that I've seen. Once again, I talked to people that used to hang out with him this weekend, and they don't know what went on. They don't know what's going on. Text messages, DMs that I received back. So it's really strange. If anyone knows what's going on, you know, just type it down below. Leave me a message, because even his buddies don't know what's going on. People have done collaborations with him, don't know what's going on. And when I see deleting of videos, I think of Enron. I think of card porn. Like, why do you want to hide something? Why not just deal with it? Take a break, 2-week break, and come back. And, okay, you're going to deal with some heat, but eventually it'll roll over. Not like this. This just seems weird, man. Anyways, I wanted your thoughts on this. what do you think about private sales? Are they rigged to a certain degree? Are they manipulated to a certain degree? Because last year, I'm convinced that the Herbert sale, there's hanky-panky going on, in my opinion. And it eventually, because the guy used Kurt's Card Care on that Herbert sale, which I was yapping on about over and over again, and eventually it went to Revelve, and Revelve actually had to cover it. So, going back to private sales, I am just iffy on that. Anyways, let me know what you think about this whole ordeal, and I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.